Hello, this is Michael Ewer, and I'd like to invite you to the Michael Ewer Show, featuring student hosts and very special guests talking about a variety of interesting topics. You can find us on the Eagle Stream YouTube channel.
Welcome again to another episode of the Michael Ewer Show. Here today with me is my fellow co-hosts, Damien Johnson and Jenny Aguilera. And then, of course, we have a very special guest, Mr. Corey Branch, who is an electrical engineer or received an electrical engineer degree from North Carolina A&T. But I'll let us do some better introductions soon. And as for now, I'm going to ask Jerry if you can just display those web pages that
and Jerry should be getting those up anytime soon now. There they go.
Here we go. So, I'm just going to read a brief snippet of information from the College of Engineering from NCA&T. And so, the College of Engineering. So I'm just going to read the vision. The College of Engineering at North Carolina A&T State University cultivates leaders who excel at academics, innovation, and research, which is why you can see that in the actual heading, the Claire is spelled wrong. If you were wondering why it's spelled wrong, it was done on purpose. And then the mission statement, of course, the College of Engineering is committed to excellence in engineering and computer science. The college, through education and research, creates innovative and collaborative solutions that address the evolving societal and economic challenges of North Carolina, the nation, and the world. So that's just a brief introduction of what the College of Engineering at NCA&T actually does. And so we should have a webpage for Raleigh City Council to just view. And so here we go, Raleigh City Council, which is actually Raleigh's governing body. And so, Jerry, if you just scroll a little bit, we'll see that the City Council is Raleigh's governing body, as I just said, consisting of 8 members who are elected for 2-year terms. 3 of the members, including the mayor, are elected at large, while the other members are elected from 5 districts, A, B, C, D, and E. The City Council sets city policy, enacts laws, and adopts the city budget each year. And for all you folks at home, the links for both these websites are going to be put in the link in the description, so feel free to check them out. And right after that, we are going to play a video from the Care Center at Wake Tech. So here we go.
The Care Center is here to provide wraparound services for our students for when out-of-the-classroom challenges arise. I'm Mike Coleman, Dean of Student Engagement and Impact here at Wake Tech.
My name is Magdalene Christ, and I'm a student at Wake Tech in the Associate of Science program. The Care Center at Wake Tech has been a great hub for resources
such as food, success coaching, technology support, brief mental health counseling, emergency financial assistance, and transportation assistance.
I've gotten a lot of great help with questions and just navigating Wake Tech. If I'm ever having a tough day or a tough time in class, the student success coaches are always there to help me whenever I need it.
Students can connect with us by visiting one of our locations, online at our website, or by email.
So to my fellow students, if you ever need help with anything, the Care Center is your one-stop shop, and I highly recommend.
And most importantly, we are here to support our students and make sure that they soar.
Okay, and that was a Care Center video from Wake Tech. A very great place if you go to Wake Tech to get certain things that you might not be able to get from elsewhere. And so, moving on, I'm going to hand over to Jenny, and she can give you guys a message from DEI.
Hi, everyone. DEI is so excited to have had such a successful Black History Month. The event turnouts were amazing, absolutely phenomenal. We're so excited for the rest of the year. We do have a few more events planned, so keep an eye out on that. A quick plug, student government is the one that hands out a lot of their flyers and stuff. So for more details, feel free to ask any of your student leaders for more info on it. Applications for that are also open.
Great. Thank you, Jenny. And now I'm going to hand over to my other fellow co-host, Damien, and he's going to run us into some introductions.
Yeah, of course. So I'll start off. You guys already met Taj, you met Ginny. We're hopefully going to meet Mr. Branch here, where he gets to talk to you a lot about what he does at the City Council, life at AT&T, things like that. But my name is Damien Johnson. I am a current START intern. It's my second semester here at Wake Tech compared to Taj's. I think it's his last, correct, Taj? Yep, it's about to be his last semester, so you guys might see a lot more of me pretty soon. I'm really happy to be here. I'm happy to co-host with Taj as well. We get to meet some amazing people. So I'll hand off the introductions to Ginny and Taj, and then we'll finally start off with Branch. All right.
Jenny, you could go ahead.
Okay, cool. I'm Jenny. I'm Senator Chair for North Campus, and I'm also involved in the DEI Council, Student Success Work Group. I'm also in a few other things, and I'm just really excited to be here. This is one of my favorite days of the week to do this show because I get to meet a whole bunch of cool people, and I just get to kind of learn more about the different jobs that are out there and careers, and just get to meet some very impressive people. So I'm really happy to be here. Taj?
Excellent. Thank you. And once again, my name is Taj Hewitt, and I am a Scott Scholar and also on the SGA with Jenny. I'm a senator. And I've been doing the Michael Ure Show for about since the start of this school year. And it's always great to come on Thursdays. And, like my fellow co-host said, we get to meet some incredible and intellectual people. So I'm looking forward to you today, Mr. Corey Branch. So I want to hand it straight to you, and you can kind of give us a brief rundown.
First of all, thank you for having me. It's a great honor. And as you all pursue your education and everything, I definitely wish you the best. If there's anything I can do to assist you, definitely let me know. So I'm a Raleigh native. I'm a graduate of Enloe High School in Raleigh. After graduating, I went off to A&T and majored in electrical engineering. Upon graduation, I returned back to the area, first working for IBM and then AT&T. And I now work for a company called Kyndryl. And I manage a network support team, a global support team. So I have people from multiple sides of the world that I support and give direction to. I was elected to Raleigh City Council in 2015. I've been on City Council representing District C, which is Southeast Raleigh. I have half of downtown. I go all the way out towards Knightdale and Garner, as we move forward. So I look forward to answering some of your other questions, but it's just a little bit about myself.
Yeah, excellent. And I'm glad you gave us sorry, Damien, but I'm glad you gave us a little bit of background information. But the first question I really want to ask you is, what really inspired you to become an electrical engineer?
So it's interesting. Everyone has a cell phone now. But back in 1994, when I was in school, people were transitioning with pagers to cell phones. And then, one of the big companies was Motorola. And I was just really interested in signals and things while I was a student at Enloe High School. And I got a chance to be part of a junior NSBE team partnering with NC State and going to conferences and seeing engineers. And NSBE stands for National Society of Black Engineers. And being a part of that, seeing people who look like me and talk like me and have, fun like me, all doing engineering. And then I said, well, what about engineering? And as I thought about it, signals and waves and understanding it. And also I love physics, but I chose electrical engineering as the field of choice.
Great. Yeah. And I have a lot of friends that are actually going into electrical engineering as well. So I hope they have the same passion for it as you do. Yeah. And right before we get into our second question, we actually have a short video from the NCA&T College of Engineering. So, Jerry, if you could pull that up first.
A&T puts you in a space where both upperclassmen and underclassmen are all hungry to learn and all hungry to really tackle the world's challenges.
You chose to study medicine at Meharry and engineering at NC-A&T because you want to lead and serve. And I'm here to tell you, you made a great choice.
Definitely. And so I'm going to hand it over to Jenny now, and she's going to lead us in.
So we do have the background that you graduated from North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University. For those who don't know, that's in Greensboro, and it is the #1 producer of African American engineers in the United States. Super awesome. It's also nationally known for its programs in, of course, agriculture and the typical STEM, so science, tech, engineering, and math, among some other nationally accredited departments. Why did you choose that specific institution? Of course, it's, one of the leading schools, and you did mention that, you were meeting people who looked like you, talked like you, had fun like you. That's such an important part of the college experience. But, were those the only reasons that you chose it? And did it make you feel prepared to actually work as an engineer, like in the field, or?
So we're going to go back to middle school, actually. I was in the Math Science Education Network, MSEN pre-college program at NC State. So as part of that program, we have statewide competitions. My very first statewide competition was actually at A&T. And being a part of just seeing the campus, I was like, whoa. Being from Raleigh, I know about Shaw, I know about St. Aug, and I was always on NC State's campus. So I know about NC State, Poe Hall, their engineering and their nuclear lab, all of that. So I looked around and I'm like, wow. And I think what helped me too was my brother wind up going to A&T after starting at NC State. So he started at NC State. He didn't have the best experience when he started. My brother and I are 9 years apart. So he graduated from Illinois in 87. And he wound up he set out a year, he transferred to A&T. And he graduated from A&T in 94 in industrial engineering. He stayed and got his master's in computer science. So I was on the campus while he was a student there. I graduated in 96, but just that overall experience. And when you have the #1 producer of African Americans in engineering, our career fair is the largest. I will put our career fair over NC State's career fair. And the key point that I would say people of color need to realize is that companies go to A&T looking for people of color. Companies go to other universities looking for people with high degrees, high GPAs. Mm-hmm. So there's a difference there. There's an intentionality there. I know you mentioned you're part of DEI. Being intentional is very important when you're trying to be inclusive. Mm-hmm. So those were the things that helped me and drove me to A&T. And then just being at A&T, those are the best 4 years of my life.
Thank you so much for sharing. So you were already exposed to A&T before it was even your time to start applying. That's so cool that you were in your graduate school before you even know you were going to be graduating there. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. Now you said you were an MSCN, correct?
Correct.
I was an MSCN for about 6 years myself. I just thought that's why my face lit up when you said it. You don't hear too many. It's such a great program for minority students in general, and I just don't hear it talked about enough. So it's actually really nice to know that you were there. And of course, you know how it is. We were very familiar with NC State and stuff. We're always on that campus there. But wow, that's just so great. Are there any other memorable experiences? I'm sure you have a huge list.
So here's a fun fact of while I was at A&T, actually two. One is really not to engineering. It was just me getting involved on campus, doing things. knowing people on campus, I was asked my sophomore year going into my junior year to be part of student government as far as helping with voter education and registration. So that was really the first time that I led initiatives to get people registered. A&T has a precinct on campus. They try to take it away. They still have it, thank God. But just getting students, educating students, and then after that, just continue to work with the student government on different activities and functions. So that was a great experience my junior year. My senior year, so everyone knows about Engineers Week. This is Engineers Week. Well, A&T back in the day, I don't know if they still have it, but they had a basketball tournament. So they had people from every department playing in the tournament. And my, double E's, we won it our junior year. And we knew a lot of the Kimmies who actually played women's basketball. Well, they got a new coach, and the coach wanted, a way to help her team practice. So she actually reached out to our entire team our senior year. And so we got NCAA clearance and everything. And we practiced with the women's basketball team that entire season to try to help them, for their season and for the games that they had going forward. So, those are just two great experiences that happened because of A&T and also because of engineering.
Wow. So did you spend the whole time, I guess not the whole time doing that, but your whole time there with the women's team when you were working with them?
It was just my senior year. It was
okay,
just my senior year. Yeah.
Just for clarification, this might be a little interesting. So you went to school for electrical engineering, which was something I was kind of considering myself. A&T was actually very high on my list next to NC State when I was trying to choose between the two. It was either I'm going here or I'm going there. I'm currently obviously doing my undergrad or part of my undergraduate stuff at Wake Tech. So as I'm studying to be an engineer, what type of tips or what would you say to students that are thinking about basically becoming an engineer in terms of like preparation, in terms of strategy, day in the life? I know they have a lot of career fairs and such. How should we turn out to those as like minority students? How can we better promote ourselves?
So the first thing I say is always be prepared, learn the language. Engineers speak a different language. If you're going into electrical engineering is so wide. Whatever company you speak to, know how they utilize an electrical engineer. You may go to Duke Energy and you're looking at voltages and things of that nature, or you may go to Amazon and you may be working in their computer room and connecting different departments. The beauty behind when I came out was there was no computer engineering. Computer engineering is a combination of electrical engineering and computer science. That's how it came out to be. So I graduated in 2000. I think they started coming out with computer engineering majors in 2001. So just understanding the major, if you're mechanical engineering, if you're industrial engineering, understanding whatever companies you're looking at, how do they utilize that skill set? And then just dress the part. I say always be prepared. A lot of people say is shirt and tie. I would always present shirt, tie, jacket. That's how I would go. Ladies, business attire as well that suits you, and bring your best. But also be well-rounded. A lot of people think engineers are boring. You look at old 70s and 60s movies, it's the guy in the white coat with the pins in the front pocket or whatever. But be well-rounded, be able to relate to people. And that's the biggest asset. I'm a manager now. So I've been managing teams for 15 years. So in doing that, I don't log into devices every day and look at our network, but I know how to do it. I know how to talk the language, and I can translate it to someone that doesn't.
And would you say that, I guess that's more skill that you learn on the job, or is that more skill that you kind of learn through undergrad and networking?
So I would say both, because the beauty about undergrad is that, I was in NSBE while I was at A&T. So I was a freshman committee president at the time, my first year. So when you're interacting, when you're talking, and when you're presenting, you learn those skills. But also when I'm not in engineering, I was working with student government, I had a different exposure. So I was able to put a lot of different things into the toolkit. And that's what it's going to take to be a successful person or even engineer. You have to be able to code switch.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Intended.
Of course. Yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And I'm in SJ, like I said, and Damien and I are both also in SB. And you spoke about being well-rounded, which I think is a very good trait to have. And so I know you were the assistant director for AT&T for 13 years, right? So, yeah. So could you tell us a little bit about that role, and then also your current position as the team lead manager at Kyndryl?
All right. So it's associate director, and they actually just changed our titles at Kyndryl. So I'm now an associate director again. Yeah, they just made the change recently. So basically, I am a first line manager that manages. I have 3 people in the US, I have 3 in Canada, I have 2 in India, and I have 6 in the Czech Republic that I manage directly. And I also help oversee about 10 people down in Latin America, people in Argentina, Chile area. So there, a day in the life of what I do a lot is trying to put out fires and trying to give direction.
How do you keep everyone on the same page? You just have a large WhatsApp group, or?
Yeah, so a lot of it is talking to my teams daily, reaching out. They have my cell phone, so if something happens within their time zone and I may not be online, they can reach me. The beauty is I have a senior team, so I don't have to give a lot of direction to, but at the same time, I still have to do a lot of clarity, and a lot of times it's just clearing the runway so they can do the work. We're setting up firewalls, we're setting up routers for multiple companies that we provide network services for. So in doing that, I have to understand the difference between our switches and our firewalls. So when I go to upper management, I can say, okay, this is how many people I need to work on this issue, or how many people I work on this issue, or I can say, okay, this is down. We're waiting on folks. So there's a lot that goes on. Even in my day job, no 2 days are the same.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I would say, that definitely makes sense. I would never imagine it to be the same. I imagine your job to have to deal with a lot of versatility, and as a leader, you have to know how to communicate with people and such. Also, being on the Raleigh City Council, literally a Raleigh leader, right. You have to know how to communicate as such. And I wanted to know, and that doesn't just come easily, you have to have experience with that, whether that be at A&T or whether that be within your community. I wanted to ask how you ended up getting that experience with leadership roles.
So part of it started when I was young. It's interesting. I was telling someone a story just the other day at church growing up. I was, second Sunday's Youth Sunday, and they will always have a young person, do the morning prayer. And a lot of times they would come to me and ask me right before church would start, hey, can you pray today? And you have to be ready. And having to do that at such a young age, middle school, high school, and then being involved in organizations. I'm a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, but I came up through their youth program, African American Leaders of Tomorrow at the time. And being a leader there amongst my peers, working with them, working with having mentors to give me opportunity. No one makes it anywhere, by themselves. There's an old saying, if you see a turtle on a post, it didn't get there by itself. So it's just trying to be accessible and be open and be willing to listen. I think the biggest thing is always listen first before ever speaking, because when people come to you, a lot of times they're very emotional, sometimes with issues on city council as well as engineering. I have to get past the emotional part and really listen to what it is they're saying their problem is and try to figure out how we can work together.
Okay. So it sounds like, to listen, make sure you're listening to people, what they're saying. I feel like there's also a bit of risk you kind of have to take, not to be afraid. So I think that's something I've taken away from you today. And I want to say thank you for that.
No problem.
Of course.
with what you said about having to kind of manage all kinds of folks and stuff, and almost clearing the runway, right, for your team to just kind of do their own thing, get stuff done. How do you address issues that are brought to you in city council? Is it about the same techniques? Is it just about, kind of being flexible and adaptable, or is that more of a processed position? Is there more of a ABC and then that's it? How would you describe that, and what kind of issues are addressed by city council?
It would be about the same from the standpoint of everyone comes with their own experiences, lived experiences. So you have to listen to what their challenge is and then try to figure out what's the best opportunity to help, resolve that matter. It may be a referral to the county because it may be a service that the county provides. It may be a referral to a nonprofit. It may be something the city can handle if it's a housing matter. If it's a street matter, is the issue they're having problems with people speeding? Is it that, people are too fast? Then based upon the type of street, do we do stop signs? Do we do modifications to the road to do street calming? To try to get people to slow down? Do we need speed humps? So it's about really listening to the issue and then trying to look at the full picture and figure out what are the different tools that are available to maybe assist them. And sometimes it's just listening to people. Sometimes they may not want us to fix their issue. They just want to know that you're listening and that you care. So it's about, being that part, carrying that part too. So, that's again, there's no two things. It could be Parks and Rec dealing with young people, what opportunities they want, and need to explore.
Okay, so like Damien said, with having to be versatile and just kind of wearing different hats, because the way that you would address somebody who's a little bit older and more, in the senior category, you probably wouldn't approach, a college student that's, that has a grievance.
Right.
It's really interesting.
And there may be a situation like I say this, if I have a single person that's unhoused and if I have a family that's unhoused,
right,
they both have the same issue, but the solution for them may be different.
Right. There's different programs and avenues to address their dilemmas. Okay.
Completely. Yeah. I guess it's wearing so many hats. Jeez, it's like I see how you can get all the experience in your lives over time. It definitely has to come over time, though. I could never imagine. We actually have a question kind of concerning that. If you had, for instance, I think it should be showing up on the screen, right? Yes. If you had like a 9-year-old daughter who's in elementary school, how do you think you should prepare her, or just kids in general, how would you prepare them to get interested in fields such as engineering, where it can be so math heavy, science heavy, conceptual and such?
So it's interesting. When I was a kid, I had toys and I like to see sometimes how they work. So they got broken. And I would try to figure out how to put them together. I think, at age 9, that is probably what, 3rd, 4th grade. I would just look at things that are age appropriate as far as, engineering and just things that they can play with, and you want to build the creativity side of them. Being an engineer is about being creative, because a lot of times an engineer is being asked to come up with a solution to something that previously has not had a solution. So I would look at different experiences overall as far as traveling to schools. It's never too early to visit a college campus and just talk to people. Find out what science they like. The science you like does matter overall as well.
So it's not necessarily about getting them to be good at mathematics, when they're very young, or about, teaching them physics when they're in 5th grade. It's about making sure that they're experiencing the creativity, the creative side of their mind, and problem solving, critical thinking is what you want to be teaching them.
Definitely, because I had someone tell me years after I had graduated. They didn't know I was going to really do well in engineering because I didn't have the best math scores. But I love physics and I love trying to figure things out.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I think it's actually time for some of our closing statements. Don't want to keep everybody here too long. Corey, do you want to start? If you have anything else left to say to the audience.
I just want to say, try. Go out there and try, take a risk, a smart, educated risk. But, just try, learn new people, meet new people, and just, go from there. That's the main thing I say. And just have a strong foundation in whatever you believe in to get you through the difficult times.
Excellent. And as for me, I can just say that I think engineering is a great field, and it really shows the ingenuity of humans. And I mean, historically, it's really what brought the human race a long way. And thank you for coming today, Mr. Branch. I just want to say we appreciate everything that you do for the engineering world and the community. And yeah, I mean, please come back on the show again.
Just let me know, because Michael loves cutting time.
All right, Jenny?
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your experiences, especially with sharing how you do have to be well-rounded, and you don't have to sacrifice your more technical skill for creativity, or your creativity for the more technical, like physics and heavy math and stuff like that. Because you're right, a lot of STEM careers, on TV, they look like these like boring, squares and white lab coats and pens in the pocket to spice it up or whatever. So thank you so much for sharing and just telling us about your journey to get here. And I'd also like to thank the audience and everyone who watched and asked questions. It was so fun getting to hear your response on how to introduce children into STEM. And I'd also like to thank DEI specifically for supporting the show and for letting me come on here to kind of represent them. It's always so fun to do that. Damien?
Yeah, of course. I'll try not to run too long, Mr. Branch. I might actually ask you to stay just a little bit because I have so many questions I want to talk to you about. But thank you so much for coming on to the show. You gave us some really valuable insight into not just how to be an engineer, but how to be a successful person who thinks like an engineer and to bring people together and such. So like I said, I want to thank you for coming up on the show. Thank you, Taj, Ginny, DEI, and the audience. If there are any more questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And that I think that's about it for us. Yeah.
Thank you everyone for coming. As usual.